Have you ever been confronted by a guy in boat shoes and a lanyard? I asked myself, sipping lukewarm coffee on my porch. Let me tell you, it's a real spiritual experience if that's how this whole mess kicked off. It was a Tuesday morning, nothing special, birds chirping, lawn still damp with dew. I was out front, trimming my late wife Margaret's roses, when this guy with the posture of a parking meter stomps up to my house. He's clutching a clipboard like it's got the nuclear codes. No hello, no introduction, just jabs a finger at my mailbox like it spat on his grandma. This mailbox violates Pine Hollow HOA Regulation 4.2b, he declares, dripping with the smugness of someone who's memorized a made-up handbook. It's too tall, the wood's unapproved, and it's missing the proper HOA emblem. Let me pause there. That mailbox? It's not just some hunk of wood and screws. Margaret carved it by hand back in '92, spending 3 weeks shaping it with more care than most folks give their pets. It's a little Victorian house, paint still bright after all these years. Every morning I slip a note inside for her. Doesn't matter that she's gone, some traditions are too good to let go. So you can guess how quick my temper flared when this polo shirt punk tried slapping a red violation sticker on it. I read it, immediate removal required. No warning, nothing. I asked who he was. He puffed up and said, Gary, HOA compliance officer, like he was some CIA big shot. His plastic badge looked like a cereal box prize, and his laminated ID bore a logo I'd never seen, Pine Hollow Homeowners Association. Here's the kicker: Pine Hollow hasn't had an HOA since 2017. It fell apart when the board got busted for siphoning dues to fund a sauna in the park. Gary either missed that memo or didn't care. He starts circling the mailbox like it's a crime scene, tapping it with his pen, scribbling notes. I ask again, calm but firm, what gives him the right? I'm certified by the Regional Neighborhood Standards Group, he says. I nearly spat out my coffee. I looked it up later. It's a blog some dude runs to rank HOA flyers. I told Gary the mailbox wasn't going anywhere, not now, not ever. Then, like a bad sitcom twist, here comes Sheila. You'd spot Sheila a mile away. 80 pounds of hairspray, cheetah print leggings, and an attitude that could curdle milk. She's the self-proclaimed president of Pine Hollow HOA, a title as legit as a toddler calling himself CEO of nap time. She doesn't even live on my block, but she's got her nose in every petty squabble. She struts up, purse dog under one arm, tablet in the other. Henry, she coos like I'm a misbehaving kid. We've had so many complaints about your mailbox. It's frankly an eyesore. Does fit the neighborhood's VIB. I stared at her for a good 5 seconds, wondering if I'd stumbled into a reality show. It's a mailbox, not a neon sign, I said. What, it clashes with your flamingo army and lawn trolls? She ignored me, pulling out a fake HOA mailbox standard stock that looked fresh off a Kinko's printer. It had rules about paint shades, size limits, even approved flag angles. I flipped to the inside by Chairperson Sheila T. Foss. She'd autographed her own fantasy rulebook. I laughed, which might have been a mistake. Gary, boosted by Sheila's presence, gets in my face. You've got 24 hours to remove it, or you're fined. He shoves a fine notice at me like it's a subpoena. I didn't take it, just locked eyes with him and said, touch this mailbox again, and you'll meet a real federal officer. That threw him. He blinked, flustered. You can't threaten an officer, he sputtered. You're not law enforcement. Thing is, I was 30 years with the Office of the Inspector General. Fraud, corruption, security audits, I've seen it all. Retired now, sure, but I know a sham when I see one. I didn't say that, just gave him the smile you perfect after watching liars dig their own graves. Sheila, sensing defeat, tried a parting shot. We'll document this for legal action, she huffed, waving her tablet like she was filming a sting. Great, I shot back, get my good side. They slinked off, Gary muttering, Sheila sighing like she'd escaped a war zone. I picked up the dropped fine notice. The letterhead had typos, the signature was Gary's in Comic Sans. You can't invent this stuff. That night I sat on my porch with a beer watching kids bike past. One, a girl named Lily, stopped to admire the mailbox. It's like a tiny mansion, she said. Did you make it? I told her Margaret did. She nodded, said, it's cool, and sped off. I knew Gary and Sheila weren't done though. This wasn't over. They had no clue who they'd picked a fight with. That mailbox stood for love, memory, principle, and no lanyard-wearing fraud was taking it from me. The next morning I found a stack of papers shoved under my door. Not a good sign. Still groggy, I grabbed the fake Pine Hollow HOA letterhead, potato stamp seals. Fines galore. $200 for a non-compliant mailbox facade, $60 for missing a mandatory HOA meeting, even $84, lawn clutter. My gnome's been there longer than Gary's been balding. This wasn't just about the mailbox, it was revenge, a sloppy, stapled-together declaration of war. I sat with my coffee reading every misspelled word. One fine called my Lot 8C it doesn't exist. Another claimed I owed dues from 2020 when the HOA was long dead. It hit me, they were running a ghost HOA, a disbanded group they'd revived to extort us. If I was getting this, others were too. I walked to Sarah's place first, a single mom, night shift nurse, perpetually exhausted. She answered, kid on her hip, and sighed when I mentioned fines. They said my blue door disrupts community harmony. It's just teal, Henry. My son chose it. She'd paid $100 to avoid hassle. Next, the Kapoors. Mr. Kapoor held up a fine before I could ask. $44 offensive cooking smells. You serious? I said. He wasn't kidding. They paid too. Nearly everyone on the block had been hit. The Millers fined for Christmas lights in April, and on and on. It wasn't just petty, it was a hustle. Gary and Sheila were shaking down the neighborhood with fake authority and forged papers. That night, I called a few neighbors over. We sat in my garage lawn chairs in a semicircle like a support group. Mike brought beer, Sarah brought brownies, the Kapoors brought printouts. I showed my fines, then played security cam footage. Gary at 3 a.m., yanking at my mailbox in a hoodie, tripping over a sprinkler, face planting in my petunias. We laughed, but it was the angry kind. This was a scam. Gary and Sheila's personal piggy bank, no rules, no oversight, just two busybodies with too much time. We started planning. Sarah had paid by check to Pine Hollow HOA Incorporated, an LLC, not a personal account. That meant records, maybe taxes. I'd dig into it. I still had contacts. Mike would canvass for more view items. We'd let Gary and Sheila think we were scared, let them keep printing their trash. The more they overreached, the harder they'd crash. Next morning, I hid a second camera in a birdhouse, aimed at the street. Gary came back with a final warning, muttering into his phone about escalating. I posted the mailbox clip on the local Facebook page. Who's finding your gnomes? Meet Gary at 3 a.m. It blew up 50 shares in an hour, 200 by noon. Neighbors chimed in. Fines for curtains, threats to tow cars. My phone buzzed with stories of their bullying. They messed with the wrong street and the wrong guy. I chased down bigger crooks than this. They weren't even good at it, just small-time tyrants with a printer. But they'd made one mistake. They came from my mailbox and I'd take them down for it.